As more severe weather moves through our area, state officials are at this hour looking over the hardest hit areas in this week of storms. We'll have details on that and the first look at the forecast.
Clevelanders pray as Pope John Paul II prepares to undergo surgery. We'll have the latest on his condition.
And we're going to take you live to New York for day 2 of the Democratic Convention. Reports from Ted Henry, Bill Scheel, and Congressman Dennis Eckert. It's all coming your way next on Live on 5.
From News Channel 5, Cleveland's live 24-hour news source continues.
Good evening. For the third night in a row, stormy weather is moving into our area at a time when some people are still cleaning up.
We're going to be checking with Don in just a minute for the latest on that. But first of all, emergency management officials are traveling to Summit County now to look at the damage from storms the last 2 days, and that's where our Ross Kurgis is standing by live. Ross, have you had a chance to talk with the officials yet?
Well, I just talked to them moments ago, Wilma, and they say that the damage that they've seen here so far is some of the worst they've seen since seeing Hurricane Hugo. That's pretty bad. They landed right here, took off just moments ago, right here in the middle of the disaster area. You can see right behind me one of the rooftops torn off the buildings. And what they are looking for is more than $10 million in uninsured damage. If they do find that, they're not expecting right now, then they'll make a request for federal aid from the federal government. But earlier today, homeowners in Stowe and Cuyahoga Falls got out to took a chance to take a look at some of their property out here. When you consider there's 16 tornadoes, let's take a look at some of the pictures. It takes a while for some of these people to grasp how bad this really was. And homeowners in Stowe and Cuyahoga Falls say the first day after the storm, you're thankful that no one is injured. And now when the second day hits, you start counting the damage. Thousands of dollars will be spent for tree removal. And on one city block in Stowe, 6 garages were leveled. Today, those homeowners are trying to figure out where to start.
It's all going to have to be demolished and put back together again. Been in contact with my insurance agent, and he tells me that the contractors are super busy.
That's gone. Our garage, as you can see, is gone. The roof is in the neighbor's backyard back there.
It was an act of God, and it was a tornado, and it did, but it's still traumatic. It's very traumatic.
We're right now in northern Cuyahoga Falls, and you can see right behind me the fire station was damaged as well. The homeowners we talked to today say this has devastated them. They hope to get some federal relief, and maybe that'll ease the situation. We'll have more a little bit later on at 6.
All right, we'll look for that at 6, Ross, then. Thank you.
A woman in Geauga County tonight is angry that warning sirens didn't sound as severe storms roared through her area last night. She thinks lives were in danger. But people responsible for the alarm system in Burton Township say the siren stayed silent for good reason. Lou Maglio reports that this difference of opinion is raising questions about how weather warning systems are used.
It was kind of Scaresville, and...
Rosa Hurst was dining at Bell's Restaurant when the skies took on an eerie look. She hurried home and heard from a neighbor that tornadoes were nearby.
Her son had called her from Middlefield saying that their warning system had gone off for them to go to the basement, and they're not even 7 or 8 miles away from us, if we're even that far. So if they're under some sort of a thing, we should be, because...
She got really angry when someone at the town hall told her the siren was out of order, not working. The fire chief says she got bad information.
The chief said he'd be willing to prove the alarm system works, so we took him up on the offer. Now, the siren itself is located on top of the fire station. Now, when I give the cue, he'll trigger the alarm. Here goes.
The alarm works, but why didn't anyone hear it last night? Chief Paul Adams says he and others were watching the skies closely from a parking lot near the fire station.
We just kept our eye on it and see nothing, so we did not alert anybody. I feel that if you don't have to get the people all riled up and things, you're better off than blowing it and having everybody scrambling and running for the basement.
Rosa Hurst says she would have appreciated a warning.
That if I want to take and jeopardize my own life, that's my choice. For you to take and make my choice for me, that is totally incorrect.
She worries about the area's Amish community without radios or TVs to carry warnings. Chief says there's nothing to fear.
Like that, we're always alert and ready to go if we have to.
Fact is, like it or not, the decision to sound a siren is a judgment call, and people in Burton Township and many other places can only trust the judgment of those in charge. Lou Maglio, News Channel 5.
Funnel clouds were spotted in the distance, but no tornadoes touched down in Burton Township last night.
I'll tell you, we've had 2 days of bad weather. It looks like we're going to make it 3 in a row, Don, yes?
Sure does. We now have a tornado watch in effect for the entire TV5 viewing area until midnight tonight. Let's have a look now at our radar and find out what's happening storm-wise. And you can see up in Michigan and southern Ontario, big band of showers and thunderstorms, and everything is starting to move our way. So we do have that watch in effect, and it looks as though tonight we will have, well, I said until 9, it was just made down until midnight. We will have showers and thunderstorms, a low of 65 for tomorrow. A chance of some lingering showers in the morning, partly cloudy, winds out of the northwest at 5 to 15, and a high of 78. We also have a flood watch in effect for almost all of the state, and that could very well happen if we get more rain because we've had so much over the past couple of days. So a tornado watch in effect now for the entire TV5 viewing area until midnight.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you in a minute. You know, with music and fanfare, the 1992 Democratic National Convention got underway in New York last night. And this evening, the emphasis in Manhattan is going to be to showcase major party leaders getting in line behind the Clinton-Gore ticket. Our Ted Henry is joining us now with the latest on the convention. And Ted, has Clinton been very visible there in New York today?
Wilma, do you want the truth? Bill Clinton is showing up all over this city, night and day. They can't keep him hidden. Normal conventional wisdom is to keep your primary candidate under wraps for a couple of days or so, especially until you get into the thick of things. But not this time around. Bill Clinton purposely wants to be seen and heard by everybody as much as he can to take advantage of all the media windows of opportunity to get his message spread from coast to coast.
For the moment, he's got Big Mo on his side, and Bill Clinton intends to take maximum advantage of his early convention week momentum.
I was exhilarated last night as I sat in my hotel room and watched the Democratic convention.
What Clinton watched were Democrats cheering his name, but one principal Democrat is yet to show great excitement for Clinton.
Jesse Jackson is still what you'd call iffy about the Clinton-Gore ticket. He's for the ticket. He's saying positive things about the ticket. He's working sort of behind the scenes for the ticket. He's just not very enthusiastic about the ticket.
But by speech time, Jackson's energy level is expected to perk up.
I think when he speaks tonight that he will give a strong support for this ticket.
I think Jesse Jackson's voice is essential for the country and for the party.
I think that ultimately Reverend Jackson will be even warmer than he has been. I understand his concerns.
Cleveland Mayor Michael White's just new on the convention scene today, and he has his own strong agenda by gambling on tying his political future to Bill Clinton's political future, sort of like how Ohio Attorney General Lee Fisher of Cleveland has. Fisher is being rewarded for his early support of Clinton by being given a chance to speak directly to the convention later tonight.
Well, I'm certainly excited. I think it may be because I've been very involved with the Clinton campaign from the beginning as their state co-chair.
Fisher's talk tonight, it's on one of the nation's fastest-growing social problems.
I'm going to talk about the fact that it's an epidemic of kids killing kids in this country with guns.
Well, Lee Fisher's going to be on the podium about 7:25, and so will I. One of us in TV5 is going to be right up there with him. You won't see us, of course, but we're going to have a camera trained on him and have a complete report on his speech to the nation coming up at 11 o'clock. And a big interview with Mike White coming up live at 6 o'clock as well.
All right, we'll always look forward to that. Are Ohio's delegates, Ted, by the way, finally united in their support of Clinton?
Pretty good question, Wilma. Everybody certainly wants the Buckeye State to coalesce behind Bill Clinton, but the answer is they haven't quite done that yet. I would guess about 20% of the people here are still fervent, strong Jerry Brown backers. They're going to get his name and his face before this crowd comes tomorrow night. That's what they've been trying to do, and he's going to speak to the convention tomorrow.
Art, it would certainly help if Clinton made an effort to visit the Ohio delegation, wouldn't it?
Well, we do have a promise to have Hillary Clinton come tomorrow to the Ohio delegation at our Crown Point Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, but we're in the same hotel as the Arkansas delegation, so you can conclude for yourself what that means. Bill Clinton will come to the Arkansas people, and we'll just sort of barge in and see what he has to say.
Are you exhausted yet?
Famished. I haven't eaten since 7 o'clock this morning.
Hungry, of course. All right, but not necessarily tired. Okay,
no.
Ted, thank you.
It's going to be a big evening. We'll report tonight at 6 o'clock throughout the evening, and, of course, after the convention at 11 o'clock. Now back to you from Madison Square Garden.
Thank you.
Well, the soon-to-be Democratic nominee did get off to a kind of a rough start this morning in New York. Bill Clinton started the day like he does most days with a short jog. Only today he was approached by some members of Operation Rescue. The protesters tried to hand Clinton what's believed to be the remains of an aborted fetus. Clinton ignored the group and went on with his jog. In a speech later in the day, Clinton said he is not pro-abortion, but does favor abortion rights.
You know, we've seen it many times before here in our city. An EMS squad with lights flashing and a siren blazing on an emergency run ends up in an accident. Well, it happened again today. A car made a left-hand turn right into the side of this EMS unit at East 30th and St. Clair. Luckily, the two EMS technicians and the driver of the car suffered only minor injuries. The city averages about 30 accidents a year involving EMS units on emergency runs, most of them at intersections. Commissioner Bruce Shade says the driver of the car swears that she never heard that siren.
The light apparently had turned green. This lady proceeded to make a left-hand turn into the path of the ambulance, which was going around to the left.
The seriousness of the situation certainly has EMS people looking into ways of prioritizing the calls for help as a way of cutting down on both the number of non-emergency calls and the number of accidents. Cleveland police are still investigating the mishap. We are told no charges have been filed yet.
Well, we told you last week how the Cleveland school system is going to start phasing out busing. This fall, a small group of students will get to attend a school in their own neighborhood. The Cleveland School Board's meeting tonight, and the busing situation is the hot topic, and Ted Hart is at the meeting, and he joins us live. Ted, can you tell us anything about which children will be affected by this fall?
I can, Roy. Right now, though, let me tell you that the board members are in executive session discussing what is referred to as Phase 1 of a proposal that would eliminate federal court control of the district as well as gradually reduce busing in the school district. The first phase, if all goes well, that is to say if the federal court approves it, if all parties approve it, would allow about 1,200 elementary school children to attend schools in their immediate neighborhoods rather than be bused across town. The schools involved are Brooklawn Elementary, Case, East Madison, Kentucky, Miles Park, and Oliver Perry Elementary. The proposal says that the neighborhoods surrounding these schools would naturally provide racially balanced enrollments, and therefore busing is no longer needed.
This is just one step, I believe, in the right direction to working towards complete and unquestionable compliance of the remedial order.
What has to happen between now and whenever? I mean, this could happen this fall, but it needs your approval and then what, federal court approval? Now, Phase 1, if it is implemented, would save the district, Roy, about $1 million in transportation costs, and $1 million is significant to a district like Cleveland that is having such financial problems.
And you did say it needs federal court approval, right? That was the answer to that question was yes.
Yeah, and I should also mention that, I mean, it's going to take a little while. It's going to take the rest of the summer for this to happen, if it happens, and they're going to start a series of meetings in which the public will be able to have some input. I think they start later this month.
Okay, Ted. Thanks very much. Ted Hart reporting. One of the world's top pop singers has made the announcement that she has cancer. Coming up at 5:20 tonight, details on Olivia Newton-John's fight against breast cancer. She says she went public to help other women.
Then at 5:40, News Channel 5 political analyst Congressman Dennis Eckert joins us live again from the Democratic National Convention.
And at 5:55, do you believe in the Loch Ness Monster? Well, new research is underway on Loch Ness, and believe it or not, worms could be the answer to the mystery.
But coming up next, Clevelanders pray for Pope John Paul II as the pontiff now prepares for surgery. The latest on his condition when Live on 5 returns.
Another new truck. I'm going to start calling you Mr. Moneybags. You don't need to be a Mr. Moneybags to drive a new Ford every 2 years. How's that? Simple. The 2-year red carpet lease from my Ford dealer. Isn't leasing expensive? Not at all.
Ford F-150, #1 in Northeast Ohio. Loaded with style and comfort. And now leasing one may make more sense than ever.
Well, I guess I won't call you Mr. Moneybags. Yeah, just call me Smart.
Ask your Ford dealer about leasing. Another way he's winning Ohio over.
But would you really want to take your family sailing there? Toronto. There's no place like it on Earth. For about $24 billion, you can spend the night here. Or you can take advantage of Toronto's special value packages and save yourself some real money. Toronto. There's no place like it on Earth.
Now, for people who think nothing but chocolate will do, presenting Chocolate Lovers Blizzard Treats from Dairy Queen. Rich, rocky road with boulders of fudge, almonds, and marshmallows. Gooey mud pie, oozing with chocolate Oreo cookies and coffee. Chocolate chip cookie dough, crammed with chunks of chocolate and dough. Try all three at Dairy Queen, now.
Sure beats the chocolate mousse.
Yummy!
Get ready. Christmas is arriving early this year. It's Fretter's Christmas in July sale. You'll find this GE 18 cubic foot refrigerator for just $5.96. And this complete Sony 8mm Handycam package with extra battery and carrying case for only $8.99. Hurry to Fretter's Christmas in July sale, because before you know it, Christmas will be gone.
People don't typically think of me as the type of person who would have HIV, but I do.
Find out more about HIV, the virus that causes AIDS.
Pope John Paul II remains hospitalized today in Rome, and word is the pontiff needs surgery to remove a tumor in his colon.
The Italian media is citing unidentified but reliable sources for that information. The Pope announced Sunday he was going into the hospital for tests for an intestinal problem. The hospital today refused to comment, but did add that it will have a release tomorrow. According to the sources, 2 operations are needed to remove a tumor. Here in Cleveland, many of today's Catholic Church services were dedicated to Pope John Paul's swift recovery. Tony Gaskins attended a morning mass at St. John's Cathedral.
We're very saddened. He was so outgoing, and he touched so many people in his travels.
Outside St. John's Cathedral, people are voicing their concern for Pope John Paul's health. The Catholic Diocese is paying close attention to the Pope's battle towards full recovery. At this morning's Mass at St. John's Cathedral, Father Theodore Marzell said the Church's prayers and those of the congregation are with the Pope today.
This is a good world leader in the sense of trying to bring people of goodwill together. And that's really our prayer as a church, is that the Lord heal him.
Many of the people attending today's Mass were caught off guard by news the Pope will be going into surgery tomorrow. Father Marzell met the pontiff twice and says he was struck by the Pope's courage. While Catholics and many others pray for the pontiff's quick recovery, doctors in Rome are trying to determine what exactly is ailing the Pope. Many here say the Pope's condition is difficult to accept, claiming their spiritual leader has always displayed strength in the face of adversity. But they're optimistic he'll pull through.
They said it might be from that bullet wound. I was surprised that that's so long that it would start, interfering with his health now. But we're all praying for the best.
The Church has lit a candle which will continue burning until Pope John Paul is fully recovered. In Cleveland, Tony Gaskins, News Channel 5.
The Catholic Diocese, by the way, says that each Mass will include a prayer for Pope John Paul's recovery.
For more now on the medical aspect of the Pope's condition, we turn to News Channel 5 medical editor Dr. Ted Castell. Dr. Ted, I know that you don't understand any more than anybody else does exactly what's going on, because we hear it either benign or cancerous.
Right.
But if they catch it early enough, this is pretty curable, isn't it?
Well, that's the important thing, and whether right now it's totally benign, which we would all hope that it is, or whether there's some malignancy to it, the important thing is to get it all out. And colon cancer can be cured if it's caught early enough. When they talk about 2 operations, Roy, I'm a little bit confused. They may be doing what's called a decompression operation. If he is obstructed and the proximal part of the colon is blowing up, they may have to decompress that first and then later on go back in to remove the major tumor itself. I'm not sure I know exactly what they're talking about.
I've also heard a story that it is malignant, but that it's a highly curable kind of malignant colon cancer. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, that does. As a matter of fact, what is very possible, and let's hope maybe this is the worst that he has, is that maybe they thought it was an adenoma, which is a benign tumor, and we know that adenomas can turn into cancer, at least we believe they can, and perhaps they thought it was an adenoma, and then they biopsied it and found out there was a small amount of cancer at the base, or it was a low-grade cancer at the base of the adenoma. And perhaps that's all it is, in which case perhaps just an operation now will be all he'll need.
From the symptoms you've heard, it's possible that they have caught it pretty early.
Well, the only thing that is quite bothersome is the fact that he's obstructed or partially obstructed. That's usually a bad sign. That means usually he has a large tumor, and the larger the tumor, the greater is the chance of cancer. So that part is not too good.
All right, Dr. Ted, thanks. We'll be back to you, of course, as this story develops.
Thank
Dr. Ted Castell, our medical editor. Well, are you the victim of a consumer ripoff? You probably think you are not, but a new study suggests that many people are, and they're not even aware of it.
We're going to take you live to Washington for a look at the nation's worst consumer ripoffs. That's coming your way next, right here on Live on 5.
Guests of Live on 5 at the Morning Exchange stay at Cleveland's premier hotel, Stouffer's Tower City Plaza Hotel.
What makes a Dairy Queen frozen birthday cake so special? First of all, it's made with lots and lots of delicious Dairy Queen chocolate and vanilla soft serve, everybody's favorite. Plus, there's a layer of chocolate fudge and chocolate crunch. But the icing on the cake is you can get it decorated our way or your way. The Dairy Queen birthday cake. There is no other birthday cake quite like it. We treat you right. Dairy Queen.
Here's another great reason to switch to Pizza Hut delivery. Free pie in July. Free pie in July. Get a free medium single topping pizza when you buy a large pepperoni lovers, meat lovers, or supreme pizza at regular price. Free pie in July. So make the switch to Pizza Hut. It's gonna be a great summer. Free pie in July at Pizza Hut.
Now delivering in these areas. Check the yellow pages.
Tonight, I hereby declare tonight Tanner Family Fun Night.
Oh, please.
Are the Tanners having too much fun?
Dad, you look like a dweeb.
Yes, but I'm a dweeb having fun. Full house. Yeah. This is a building show. We build things. What would you like to build? How about a thing? Tim gets hammered by George Foreman. 1, 2, 3. Home Improvement. Get out of there.
After convention coverage, watch News Channel 5 at 11.
Count on Sears Brand Central for all the brands you want. And during America's largest appliance and electronics sale, you can save big on hundreds of items. Like this LXI 25-inch big screen stereo TV with remote, just $369.99. And this 4-head LXI hi-fi stereo VCR, an incredibly low $299.88. And there's much more, only at the store you trust, Sears Brand Central.
You know, the Chevy S10 Tahoe never did have much competition. It's a powerful V6 with a stereo cassette and a sliding rear window. Well, Chevy's just announced a $600 price cut on Tahoe.
So right now you can get one for $9,072 after cash back, or just $169 a month. Just $169 a month.
You're not going to find anything close to that from Ford or anybody else. See your Chevy Network dealer today. If they add anything more to this deal, it'd be like one of those kitchen knife commercials. You know.
You know, you've probably heard the old expression, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. But that warning hasn't stopped hundreds of thousands of Americans from being ripped off every year. In fact, a brand new study on the nation's biggest consumer rip-offs was released earlier today in Washington, and that's where reporter Mary Miller joins us from live with details. Mary, hello.
Hello, Wilma. Well, you know, it's probably no surprise with most of us having either been ripped off ourselves or at least knowing someone who has. The results of this particular survey, the worst scams, probably will come as no surprise. But the other thing that the report certainly emphasizes is that those con artists always manage to remain one step ahead of us. Millions of Americans lose billions of dollars every year to scams of growing variety and sophistication. Two consumer groups finally did an unprecedented nationwide survey to identify the worst ones. Topping the list, anything to do with cars, especially repairs that are poorly done, overpriced, or unnecessary. One victim tells a typical tale.
The bottom line was we were sold a vehicle as new that had major repairs.
Home repairs are the next biggest problem. Gail Ray's bathroom contractor quit after she complained about the job he was doing.
So I had paid out $3,500, and I didn't have a bathroom that functioned, and things had to be ripped out and started all over again.
Particularly disturbing is the growing number of victims of the recession.
Because they are especially vulnerable, they're prepared to take risks to get those things that they need, and that's what the con artists take advantage of.
Brobeck says the con artists take upfront fees of hundreds of dollars to find jobs, lend money, or counsel against foreclosure, and never deliver. What to do about it all? Robeck says we need better laws, tougher enforcement, and most of all, consumer education. But unfortunately, it's an uphill battle, at least if the economy remains weak and if con artists continue to find new and improved rip-off methods. And primarily, too, if money is scarce for people to monitor them. That's one thing that consumer protection agencies are complaining about. They're either being cut back or having to close altogether. Wilma?
Mary, if someone's watching right now and they're saying, you know, I'm already a victim of a scam, what should they do right now? Where do they start?
The first thing they do is to call the Consumer Protection Agency, their state or local one. A lot of people don't realize that they're out there for starters and that they are ready to help. As I say, some of them are short-staffed. Some of them have closed down. But they can also call a Better Business Bureau. You need to bring that to the attention of the appropriate people who can follow up.
So if you know of another consumer scam, you should contact the same group then?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing they say, you know, knowledge is the best weapon. And as you said at the start of the piece, that if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So they really have to encourage consumers to, before they enter into any sort of a contract, read a contract. Talk to other people. Go to a reputable person. If you don't know if they're reputable or not, get references. Call the Better Business Bureau. You know, check on people before you deal with them.
Very good advice, Mary. Thank you. Mary Miller reporting live from Washington. Thank you.
Well, Donna's still keeping an eye on our unstable weather, and he'll have the latest on that. We'll look at the 5-day forecast up next.
And a SWAT team surrounds the house of an Oregon man while he was at the police station turning himself in. You'll hear from him when Live on 5 continues.
Recently, the National Institutes of Health announced that 60% of people who lose weight through commercial diets alone regain that weight within 1 year. 95% gain it back within 5 years. And up to 80% drop out. The report recommends healthier lifestyles and regular exercise. So do we.
Join Bally's and get 2 6-month memberships, $49 each. Call 1-800-WORKOUT.
There are things about Abraham Lincoln a kid can't get from a history book. They can't return to the village where he once lived, or see where he hung his hat, or walk the very floors he did. And one other thing, they can't rub his nose for good luck.
The Trailside Museum, the area's oldest nature center. Its intricate carvings were created by Depression-era craftsmen who built it to last. Visit the Nature Center in Cleveland Metro Park's Brecksville Reservation. Call 351-6300 for a free booklet of driving tours and historical sites. For 75 years of conservation, education, and recreation, celebrate with Cleveland Metro Parks. Celebrate America.
Get hot deals for your wheels now at Z-Bar Tidy Car. Sunroofs, window tints, auto alarms. Whatever you need to dress up your car, now's the time to get it. And Z-Bar Tidy Car is the place. Because these deals for your wheels are really hot. Get a remote talking auto alarm.
System armed. Stand
Just
back.
$199.95. And get 50% off on our Z-Bart Rust Protection Package. Now just $275. Don't let these hot deals get away. Get to Z-Bar Tidy Car now.
Dear Folgers, I run a bed and breakfast. When I overslept one morning, the Folgers switch saved my reputation. The percolator wasn't even set up. So I secretly switched Folgers Crystals for the brewed coffee I normally serve.
This is delicious.
Well, the taste and aroma must have fooled them, because they were shocked when I revealed the switch and joked about sounding like one of your restaurant commercials.
Folgers Crystals, proven to surprise fresh brewed coffee drinkers.
Sincerely, Janet Turley.
Jeopardy! It's as much fun as you think. Tonight at 7:30.
From News Channel 5, you are watching Live on 5 with Wilma Smith and Roy Weisinger, Don Webster with the weather, and your 24-hour news team.
For those of you just tuning in to Live on 5 at half past the hour, welcome.
Here's a look at some of the day's top stories as more severe weather moves through our area. State officials are at this hour in Summit, Erie, and Fulton counties surveying the damage from storms over the past few days. Don Webster joins us with the latest forecast in just a few minutes.
Pope John Paul II will undergo surgery tomorrow morning for an intestinal blockage. Conflicting reports in a Rome newspaper say it is either a benign or malignant tumor. The Vatican says that the Pope's illness has been detected early.
And day 2 of the Democratic Convention finds Cleveland Mayor Michael White doing a little politicking. The mayor took part in several meetings with high-ranking Democrats today. So just how popular is the Democratic Convention with Clevelanders? Have you spent much time in front of the television watching the convention so far? Well, we went to the streets of our city today to find the answer to these questions in our sidewalk survey.
I felt good with what I heard and hoping that it is a time for change, and I was very impressed with Barbara Jordan's speech. And
I got a chance to see the program a little bit last night. I think it's a lot of show and fanfare, and it's hard to know what the candidates really stand for.
Well, I haven't seen too much of the convention, but I do think they got their act together this year, because I don't think the president has done the job.
Overall, the people we talked with today said the convention is important and that they have been watching.
For Bill Clinton, the name of the game this week is unity. He must come out of the Democratic Convention with the whole party strongly behind him. But Jerry Brown delegates, including those from Ohio, have yet to really throw their support Clinton's way. As our Bill Shield reports from New York, that's striking the wrong chord with the Clinton campaign.
In the middle of the literally well-orchestrated support for Bill Clinton last night, you could see the Brown signs popping up. And this morning at the Ohio caucus, there they were again. Brown supporters want what's called the humility agenda. Brown's call for campaign finance reform included in the platform.
Now that Brown will speak to the convention, some of his supporters want to make peace.
I feel that some Brown people may be missing the forest for the trees.
How Jerry Brown's people react in the Garden tonight may depend on how they feel they're being treated. Bill Clinton's employed something of a Southern strategy, choosing Al Gore on his ticket, believing he can go after George Bush in the South, and that he really doesn't have to worry about big Northeast cities like Cleveland, that they have nowhere else to vote except with him. But Jerry Brown's Ohio delegates say it'd be a mistake to ignore them.
Awful, awful mistake to make.
Ohioan Bob Protakis tried to get 22 Jerry Brown proposals as part of the party platform. The Clinton folks shot down all 22.
Unless Governor Clinton reaches out to us, I mean, we're not going to vote for George Bush or Ross Perot, but people could stay home.
Now that Jerry Brown has been given a chance to speak tomorrow, will Ohio Brown supporters be waving Clinton placards by the time Clinton speaks Thursday? Two former candidates who ran against both Clinton and Brown told us today those two camps will definitely come to terms.
And expect that Jerry Brown would be there Thursday night with the rest of us, and we'll all hold hands and smile and be united.
There's not as much difference as it appears between Bill Clinton and Jerry Brown. There was a very hot and tested primary, particularly here in New York, and I just think those differences will be resolved and we'll move on in a unified fashion.
You'll be able to judge how things are going at home. Your sign will be if you see anything but Clinton signs waving in the air. At the Democratic Convention in New York, Bill Shield, News Channel 5.
If you're a Paul Tsonga supporter, the reason you haven't seen many of his signs is that he and Bill Clinton have already, as they say, made their peace.
Well, another super entertainer announces that she has a major illness. Olivia Newton-John has announced she has breast cancer. Lorna Barrett is in our 24-hour newsroom with this story and some other headlines making news at this hour. Lorna.
Wilma, that's right. Olivia Newton-John made the announcement about her cancer because she was afraid it would show up in tabloid magazines. The 43-year-old singer became famous in the 1970s with several hits and later starred in the movie Grease. She says the cancer was found in its early stages thanks to regular exams, and her doctors expect a full recovery. In the meantime, Newton-John has postponed her Back to the Basics tour that was scheduled to begin in August. A 3-day standoff in Oregon is over. 59-year-old Ted Wayne held police at bay, threatening to blow up his house if they tried to enter. The cops were called in after Wayne refused to honor an eviction notice. A SWAT team, complete with an armored vehicle, surrounded the house, but somehow Wayne got out of the house and drove to the sheriff's office and turned himself in. Later, he told reporters about his mission to make a point about his dispute and to draw attention to tax and zoning problems.
Why the hell not? It's over with.
Do you think you proved your point?
I think I proved the point. I made people aware of what's out here.
Wayne went on to say he still has complaints about the system, but now he'll have to settle them in court. He faces up to a year in prison for the 3-day standoff. In Philadelphia, the investigation continues for the killer of a business executive. The 57-year-old Massachusetts man disappeared on Wednesday. He was murdered and dismembered. Parts of his body were found in several rest stops along a New Jersey highway. The gruesome discovery was made by maintenance workers who found 6 different trash bags loaded with body parts. Police say they have several leads, but at this point, no suspects. Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines is coming back to life again. What is being described as a moderate eruption was reported today. Now, these pictures were taken last year when the volcano blew its top. More than 700 people were killed in that eruption. And you may remember it forced mass evacuations, including the U.S. military site, Clark Air Base. Experts say today's eruption is nowhere near the one from last year. An alert is in effect for the immediate area, but there appears to be no danger for other areas. And finally, let's talk big, real big as in cookies. And this giant oven is a 2-ton cookie. The bakers say it is the largest ever made. It was baked in a 36 by 36-foot oven. It has more than 2.7 million chocolate chips. And just why would someone bake a 2-ton cookie? Well, it was all part of the Cookie Town USA Festival in Ripon, Wisconsin. And that is one festival where I would feel right at home with a big glass of milk. Well, that's it from here, Wilma. Now back to you and Roy with more Live on 5.
I baked a cake like that once, Lauren. I wasn't even trying. All over the oven. Much more batter than I ever thought existed.
Sounds like something I've done, too.
I just needed a bigger oven. That was what it was. Okay, thank you. See you later.
I'm ready.
You know, it might sound like a title from a B movie, but in Salt Lake City, it was really all too real. A moose on the loose, a giant female moose wandered down from the mountains into one of the city's residential neighborhoods. After a short chase, Salt Lake City police and wildlife officers cornered the moose in a backyard. She was tranquilized and taken back up the mountain and set free, at least until she decides to take another trip into the city. Let's hope she's okay and doesn't come back.
Talk about getting lost.
I
Poor
know.
thing. And so often it ends tragically because those animals get so excited. Yeah, I hope she stays up there.
Come through in the forest feeling dizzy, saying, wow. City folk, stay away.
Stay here in the country.
That's right.
Let's hope those storms stay out there with the moose.
Well, they're not, unfortunately. Over in northwestern Ohio, they have a tornado warning in effect. A tornado was spotted around Sylvania over in the Toledo area just a few minutes ago. Here in our area, we have a tornado watch in effect, and that will remain in effect until midnight tonight. It includes, by the way, the entire TV5 viewing area. Our temperature right now is 88 degrees. Humidity is 46%. The barometer 29.79. And winds are out of the southwest at 16 miles an hour. This is what we have on radar, and you can see over by Toledo, that's a big yellow and red mark if you have color TV. And once we get into those orange and reds, those are very severe storms. And everything is headed in an easterly direction, so there's a pretty good chance that we'll be picking up some showers and thunderstorms a little bit later on tonight. Here now is another view as we have a look at our national radar, and you can see that there are a lot of big thunderstorms all the way down around the Gulf of Mexico, moving up through Dixie, and also that big line up through Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio. And it'll be till, well, through the night and on into the first part of the morning before it finally moves away. Now, if you're thinking of doing some boating, winds on the lake will be out of the southwest, coming around to the northwest. Water temperature is 70 degrees. I would advise you to stay off the lake tonight because we do have that tornado watch in effect. And if you do go out, stay very close to shore and be ready to zip in quickly again because weather could turn nasty at just about any moment.
That radar picture is amazing for the eastern third of the country.
Oh, it really is.
We've really been hit here. Thanks, Don. Well, the Democratic Party's party is going full speed ahead in Madison Square Garden as day 2 of the convention is in full swing now.
We'll take you back there live to talk to News Channel 5 political analyst Congressman Dennis Eckert next Live on 5.
This portion of Live on 5 is sponsored by Ohio Bell, who reminds you to stay on top, stay in touch.
Hello, Walters and Associates. Larry, I got your message. Is there a problem with the project? Not at all. We just had another thought. Well, I think we're fine. Now, you're going to love this. Well, you know the meeting's this afternoon. Good, then we've got plenty of time.
Today, staying in touch means transmitting more than just the sound of your voice.
Oh, I'm expecting something from...
something from Walters.
To stay on top, stay in touch. So what took you so long?
I knew you'd like it.
In the
next 60 minutes, more people will buy Ford F-Series pickups than any other. That's why Ford F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in the world, and why 5 of the top 10 bestsellers in America are Ford. With a new, more comfortable interior, a sleek new exterior, even the all-new F-150 flare side. And if you buy now, you can save over $2,000. How will you spend your next 60 minutes? If you're like many Americans, you'll let the good times roll in the all-new Ford F-150. See your Northeast Ohio Ford dealer today.
Lady Borden Premium Ice Cream. Now every flavor has more flavor. More rich roasted pecans. More pure creamy chocolate. More luscious hand-picked strawberries. Lady Borden Premium Ice Cream. Full of more good things than ever before. You'll love Lady Borden Premium Ice Cream with more flavor in every flavor.
Red Lobster's brought it back by popular demand. Our full pound of shrimp platter returns. Red Lobster knows you just can't get enough shrimp. 10 grilled shrimp, 15 butterfly, 11 scampi. A full pound of our biggest and best shrimp. For a limited time, all this shrimp is back. There's so much, you may need a doggy bag.
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
I would just like a kid on Christmas. And I'm seeing 3 2500s, which I just totally couldn't believe. I thought I made a mistake.
My eyes get bigger and bigger.
Jumped up and down for about 15 minutes.
We went crazy. Oh, it might be. I think I hit $50,000. See? Oh, you won.
You got to win to know what I'm talking about. It's a great feeling.
When you strive to be the best you can be, you celebrate America.
Well, as we've been telling you throughout the hour, it's been day 2 of the Democratic Convention in New York City. Today, News Channel 5 political analyst Congressman Dennis Eckert joins us once again from Madison Square Garden with his insight. Congressman, they say this could be the dullest night of the convention, and the baseball all-star game is tonight. Is there any connection?
Well, I'm not sure if we're going to hit any home runs here in Madison Square Garden, but there may very well be some fireworks. You know, Jerry Brown just hasn't figured out Kenny Rogers' good advice. You got to know when to hold him, and you got to know when to fold him. Frankly, Jerry Brown, who are sitting down on the floor with his delegates right now with gags taped over their mouth, emphasizing the fact that they do not have a deal yet with Convention Chairman Ron Brown and the Bill Clinton people. Tsongas folks, Roy, they're here because of substance, of philosophy. The Brown people, they're just angry. And the Clinton folks, well, they simply want to win.
Brown, if Brown speaks, it would be tonight, Congressman, or when? Do we know?
I just left the Clinton camp moments ago. There is no commitment, no deal at all yet. And until they can resolve the fact that Jerry Brown, like Jesse Jackson, and today Doug Wilder moments ago announced his endorsement of Governor Clinton, they're not going to give him a chance to come out here on this floor and embarrass the guy who the Democrats want to leave New York with a real sense of strong unity.
Just how much unity is there going to be at the end of the week? Are you getting a feeling for this? I mean, Jesse Jackson is certainly lukewarm, to say the least. Even Tsongas, who we had earlier on the program, didn't look like he was all that thrilled with what was going on. A lot of unity at the end of the week.
Tsongas' people are being very cooperative in the convention. No demonstrations, no whistleblowing. Wilder's now on board. I think it's a question of taking the angry passion of the Brown supporters and channeling them into realizing that 4 more years of George Bush, or a lacquered over George Bush, Ross Perot, is not what they're interested in if they believe truly in the environment and real fundamental reform of the election process, which is what's brought Jerry Brown this far, being an outsider after having, of course, served as governor for 2 terms in California.
The Wilder endorsement's kind of interesting. Some people thought he might run with Ross Perot. Do you have any information on how that came about?
Well, I just talked to Governor Wilder about 8 minutes ago as he was waiting to do another interview. He said he was never seriously considering it. Many people I know in Richmond, Virginia, have said that this was his golden ticket because for Doug Wilder, being only a 1-term governor in Virginia, which is what the Constitution there requires, means that he is at a political dead end.
Ross Perot may have been the team of forces that could have taken Doug Wilder on to another part of his career. Now only Doug Wilder knows what he can do next.
Congressman, do you get any feeling of rivalry still between Cuomo and Clinton? A lot of people are looking forward to tomorrow night and Mario Cuomo's speech. They think it may be the highlight of the convention.
Well, Mario Cuomo told the Clinton people this afternoon when the Clinton folks asked for a copy of the governor's nomination speech, they didn't ask me for a speech like that in San Francisco. So basically he was telling them, mind your own business. I'm happy to nominate you, but I'm going to nominate you the way I want to. That's clearly the way Governor Cuomo does his business. There's no way the Clinton people can shape it. But I got to tell you something, it will be one bell ringer of a speech. Simply stepping to the podium here in Madison Square Garden is like Mario Cuomo coming home.
Okay, Congressman. Thanks very much. We'll be talking to you later.
Thank you.
Congressman Dennis Eckert, our political analyst from Madison Square Garden in New York.
You know, it's really hard to believe, but a local company has now ended a strike that has lasted for 9 years. We'll have that story for you when we come back.
And do you believe in the Loch Ness Monster? We'd all like to, I think. Well, there's more news about some new research into the big guy when Live on 5 returns.
This portion of Live on 5 is sponsored by Sanka. Everything you love about coffee.
It's a little thing. When I have my morning coffee, I like to spread my newspaper out. And for 32 years on the 710 Express, this was impossible. You have to fold it 19 times so you don't cross that invisible line into the other guy's seat.
It's nice to have the time to appreciate the smooth, rich taste of Sanka coffee.
And my coffee tastes even better without the paper cup.
Sanka, everything you love about coffee.
You know, I love hearing how the pen gives great protection and confidence. Listen. Dear June,
I didn't think I'd ever host another family picnic, but with the confidence Depend gave me, what a day we had.
And these Depend products are the best yet, because AbsorbLock Plus not only absorbs, it actually locks liquid away.
You know, June, some of life's smallest moments bring some of its greatest joys.
Isn't that the truth? Get back into life.
If you've looked at the high prices of luxury sports sedans, you're no doubt thinking maybe I should lower my expectations. Well, considering the Nissan Maxima SE has more power than a BMW 525i and more room than a Mercedes-Benz 300e, yet you pay thousands less than either of them, maybe you should keep your expectations high and just lower your payments. See your Nissan dealer for details, because right now you can lease a Maxima for as little as $279 a month.
To inaugurate their new swimming pool, the Lake Edna Thompsons had a splashy event with food from KFC. They got 15 pieces of original recipe for $9.99 and 15 pieces of new honey barbecue chicken for $9.99. Everyone dove into that scrumptious KFC chicken, which was the only diving Mr. Thompson permitted. 15 pieces of original recipe or honey barbecue chicken, just $9.99. A hot deal in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
Credit card scams, mail fraud, false financial schemes. Learn to protect yourself and your money.
Plus choosing a pediatrician and how to know when to call her. Wednesday on the Morning Exchange.
A Russian airliner carrying the families of soldiers has crashed. Lorna Barrett is in our 24-hour newsroom again with details on this, as well as a preview of the news at 6 o'clock. Lorna.
Wilma, the passenger jet was trying to take off when it crashed earlier today, killing 29 people. The jet was filled with relatives of Russian soldiers who were on their way to visit those soldiers. We're told 5 people survived the crash, and an investigation is underway to determine the cause of the accident. Coming up tonight at 6, the rest of the day's news, including the latest on these stories.
I'm Bill Yunkin. A car slammed into an EMS squad on an emergency run this morning. There are dozens of these accidents a year here in the city. So many that EMS folks are now reassessing what's an emergency run and what isn't. I'll have that story.
Also at 6, Don has the latest on our threatening weather, and Nev has an all-star game preview. Wilma, now back to you and Roy with more Live on 5.
All right, we'll see you later. Thank you.
It's being called the longest sustained strike in history, and as Lauren Cohn tells us, after years on the picket line, workers at Ohio Crankshaft in Cleveland are back on the job.
In July of 1983, these union workers walked off the job and onto the picket line. Now, 9 years later, they are walking back inside with a contract agreement with Ohio Park Industries, the company that owns the crankshaft plant. The union workers say they decided to go on strike because the company threatened to strip them of all their benefits, their life and health insurance, and their pension plan. But with a new CEO heading the company, Ohio Industries felt it was time to make good.
That's where they started. That's where they started.
But now back inside, it doesn't feel at all the same.
After 9 years, I don't think it's right, but I'm still coming back to work. I have no choice. I'm too young to retire.
Back then, about 100 workers went on strike. Only 24 are here now to either start work or sign out with their retirement plan.
That was a long time. It's a lot of mixed emotions. It's, you know, I have a lot of years here.
Like most of the men here, David Wagner had to take on odd jobs, but he says at least now he has some security. The company spokesman did not want to talk on camera, but did say Park Ohio and Ohio Crankshaft are delighted the labor situation has been resolved. Union leader Ed N. Dexler agrees.
I'm happy with the agreement. My people are happy with the agreement. Now we got to start from day one. It's almost like new employees.
And Dexler says the company paid more 9 years ago. He says you earned a wage according to your craftsmanship. Today, the replacement workers earn less. He says he's not looking forward to dealing with the folks he calls scabs, but if he had to battle for another 9 years, he would. In Cleveland, Lauren Cohn, News Channel 5.
The company would not comment on whether any of the replacement workers would be let go. The union says roughly 15 people are going back to work.
The computer industry is growing in leaps and bounds, but new computers are still out of the price range of many people. So our Money Pro tells us there is a new market surfacing in the computer world, a market for used computers.
And it really can't tell whether you work or not unless you...
It was predicted by many economists. The unemployment lines were supposed to have been shorter by now. But if you're stuck in one, there are temporary options to replenish your bank account. It almost doesn't matter what your training or skill is. Nurse, certified public accountant, engineer, computer programmer, or secretary. There's a temporary position waiting for you somewhere. There was for Victoria Plank, whom we met going through the application process for a receptionist job.
Well, you go to work right away, and you only have really one interview, which is at the agency.
Well, the first and best advantage is to stem the outward cash flow while you're looking for a full-time and hopefully higher-paying job. This keeps you busy, keeps your self-esteem intact, and in the right situation, can even lead to that permanent position.
About half the people who come to us are actually looking for full-time employment now and in the not-too-distant future.
Ray Marcy heads up the nationwide temporary employment service called Interim.
It's an opportunity to work in different work environments, see what a big company's like, a small company, and make the best ultimate selection on where they want to be on a permanent basis. The other half really prefer the interim kind of assignments where they can work on a part-time basis because of their lifestyle.
Two key words here, flexibility and reliability. Once you're matched up with a job, be responsible and treat it like an important full-time job. Do you want to stay very busy? Then sign up with 2 or more agencies and try to be available when they call you. Also, don't be timid. Ask how long you can expect to work, even ask for some level of temporary benefits which might be available. And remember, part-time or full, the money's just as green. I'm Steve Crowley, News Channel 5.
And here's our address again if you'd like more information on this. It's 3001 Euclid Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44115.
The question of the day, could a worm hold the key to the Loch Ness Monster mystery?
That's a really good question. I'll tell you, we're going to tell you about the new research into this when Live on 5 returns.
The next Super Lotto jackpot just accelerated to $12 million. Get into the race at a lottery sales agent near you.
Cleveland, the giant John Lance Ford gives you what you want most, half payments.
Yes, half payments on every new car and truck for a full year, just your factory rebate down.
This graduated payment plan allows you to make half your normal payment.
Like Tempo GL with air, just $98 a month for 12 months, $98, then just $196 thereafter.
The new 93 Escort LX, 2-door, 4-door, even wagons, all with air, $125 a month.
New Taurus L, $169 a month, just your rebate down.
You can't afford to miss payments this low.
Rush to the giant John Lance Ford.
There's a growing respect for life in this country. You can feel it in the renewal of the family, in the return of basic values. And with this new respect, many people, when faced with an unexpected pregnancy, are deciding to make an extra place at life's table. Because many people are coming to realize that everyone deserves a chance to be born. Life, what a beautiful choice.
Sir, this is one of the few businesses that doesn't advertise in the GTE Everything pages. Why is that?
Well, this is Tommy's Toys. I'm Tommy. And these are my toys. And that's my toy, too. And that's mine, and that's mine. Now, if I advertised in that book, there'd be lots of people in here wanting to touch my toys. Maybe even take my toys, but they can't. They're my toys.
Businesses that want to be successful advertise in the GTE Everything pages. Those that don't.
This patient has a number of worrisome physical findings.
Just because she had a prior borderline doesn't mean that this has to be a borderline tumor. Maybe this is something else.
There's no sign of that 7-centimeter complex.
If you have a serious illness,
please be certain that this is the same cyst.
the clinic offers you one overwhelming advantage.
The different functional systems.
I see what you're saying. It's a good point.
The Cleveland Clinic.
So, how was the date?
He's not Mike.
Oh.
I could have stopped Mike from driving drunk. I didn't want to embarrass him.
Look, you need
I need Mike.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A group of scientists in Scotland is conducting what could turn into a monstrous mission. They're scanning the waters of Loch Ness, the famed Loch Ness, you know, the one with the legendary monster. Well, the scientists are not looking for a monster here, but you never know what they might find. Richard Blystone has the story for us from Scotland.
When the Lower Loch Ness School for In-Depth Study of Para-Aquatic Phenomena next swims together, fins and flippers will be a-wriggle over new evidence of the ingenuity and folly of that little-known species that lives on the other side of the glassy divide between water and sky. Two-leggedus monster huntus, once thought extinct, has been sighted again. Weird. Carrying the last word in sonar gear, the Simrad, owned by a Norwegian electronics company, will spend 3 weeks plying the loch, probing its 230 meters or 700 feet depth.
We are over here on other business anyway, and we will carry out a full survey of the loch. If there is a monster around that is in sonar beams, certainly we'll see one.
Project Urquhart, named for the ruined castle where the Loch Ness Monster is most commonly spotted, is a scientific undertaking, mind you, mostly concerned with things that are, well, not dry exactly, but dignified things like algae and nematode worms. And anything learned about a reclusive monster whose reported sightings go back nearly 15 centuries will be entirely coincidental. Scientists from London's Museum of Natural History and the Freshwater Biological Association are along to look after the worms and algae, and a school of bystanders will be alert for anything about the monster, who's often written off as a wave or an otter or a tree branch, though Winifred Carey claims 17 sightings in 85 years by the loch.
I'm not talking about a disturbance on the water. I'm talking about a great hump sticking out of the water that you could watch. A huge thing. Terrific.
5 years ago, monster hunters by the dozen combed Loch Ness with fishermen's sonars in Operation Deep Scan and came up with a few inconclusive squiggles. A comfort to those who feared Nessie would be proved to exist or proved not to. The latest expedition stands little more chance of destroying the mystery, but finding a giant prehistoric nematode worm, now that'd make everyone happy. Richard Blystone, London.
Tomorrow here on Live on 5, we're going to be continuing our live coverage from the Democratic National Convention. Ted Henry, Bill Scheel, and Congressman Dennis Eckert will have reports for us. Plus, tomorrow, Rick Moranis talks about his brand new movie. This one's called Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. Thanks for being with us this evening. I'll be back tonight following ABC News coverage of the convention. Until then, make it a good evening. Stay tuned now as the news continues this Monday. This is Tuesday evening with News Channel 5 at 6. It's coming up next with Lorna Barrett and Roy Weisinger. Good night.
From News Channel 5, Cleveland's live 24-hour news source continues.
And I know we're alive, and I know we're fine, but it's still
Traumatic.
Traumatic for this woman and many others who struggle to sift through the rubble and debris that remain from this week's storms. Good evening, everyone. State officials are right now surveying the damage around the state to determine if there's a need for federal aid.
At least 16 tornadoes hit the northern counties of the state. The damage is expected to total more than $10 million. The state emergency management officials plan to visit Erie, Fulton, and Summit counties tonight. And our Ross Kurgis joins us now from Cuyahoga Falls in Summit County, where the officials just finished examining the area. And Ross, what are they saying about the damage there?
Well, they said the damage is very extensive, Roy, and they say you can really see the damage from the air. As they look down from the chopper, they can see where the tornadoes touched down in certain areas, causing some extensive damage. So you can see some of the damage right behind me to this building. Suffered more than $1.5 million of damage. Thankfully, they are all insured, and hopefully they will get some federal relief as well. This team from the governor's office will report back to him. They are looking for more than $10 million in uninsured damages, and if they reach that point, they will ask for some federal aid. Now, meanwhile, today, homeowners in Stowe and Cuyahoga Falls say after the first day, they're just thankful to be alive, and the second day, they start assessing the damage.
But you wake up this morning and you look out on your yard that you've manicured and taken care of, and it's really hard.
Sandy Bard says insurance can't begin to repay for how Sunday's storm destroyed her yard, which now looks like a war zone. The family's 3 cars are totaled, and tree removal will cost thousands.
I mean, it happened so fast.
Denise Miller says insurance will cover the replacement of her garage. The first hit on one Stowe block where 6 garages are now piles of rubble, like Tom Hopton's.
I intended to clean the place out anyway. I hadn't gotten around to it. Guess Mother Nature did it for me.
Neighbor Lisa Platt returned from vacation to find her garage roof in her neighbor's backyard. The biggest problem facing these homeowners is finding replacement contractors who started arriving later today. But the path of destruction has made getting a repair estimate difficult. Business has not been good for the State Road car dealership, whose cars took the brunt of the storm, sending its managers through the roof.
You want to cry. That's about what it was like. But I mean, after we got going, you just don't think about it. You just getting going, you just clean things up. I mean, it's just everything's a lot better than it was yesterday, that's for sure.
But this is not bad news for everybody. People have already come in taking advantage of some great deals on some cars. That is, if you don't mind doing some minor repair work. But tree service operators are benefiting, as well as rental companies.
What's real popular here? Chainsaws, water pumps, generators, a lot of heavier equipment to clean up trees and things that have gone through houses.
It's all gone.
It's gone.
And, of course, those things are hard to come by right now. You can see some more of the damage right behind me, an entire building leveled. And you don't really get a feel for how devastated this area is until you start adding all these things together. And the worst news for some of these homeowners is that the weather is going to be worse tonight. They're joking around that they just may spend the rest of the week in their basement. So things are pretty bad around here. They're hoping to just collect and starting to regroup, right?
Ross, if those people do get aid from the state or from the federal government, what form would the aid take, do you know?
Well, I'd imagine it would be in low-interest loans, but how that would be dispersed and who would be eligible is still a matter to be decided. There will be some aid from the state as well as the SBA, regardless of whether they get federal aid, but they're hoping for more federal aid so everybody that needs help can get some.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ross. Ross Kurgis reporting.
And let's check in now with the man keeping his eye to the sky, Don Webster, to see if we should be ready to clean up after any more storms. Don?
Well, unfortunately, things are not looking all that good, because over in the Toledo area, they've had some very bad weather through there during the past little while. As a matter of fact, a couple of tornado warnings were reported. The entire TV5 viewing area is now under a tornado watch until midnight tonight, and it's expected that we will have some showers, some thunderstorms, some severe thunderstorms, and there's also the possibility of some flooding. We also have a flood watch in effect for the entire TV5 viewing area. So stay tuned throughout the evening, and we'll keep you updated. But just a reminder, a tornado watch is in effect, will remain in effect until midnight tonight.
Okay, thanks, Don. Well, the fire chief in a Geauga County community tonight is explaining why he did not sound severe weather warning sirens last night. Rosa Hurst was one of several Burton Township residents who called the town hall for an explanation. Sirens in other nearby communities sounded, but the siren in Burton Township stayed silent.
There was no indication to tell us that we had to take and be very cautious and careful because we were under
a warning system that we should be taking cover with.
Fire Chief Paul Adams says he watched the skies closely and did not sound the alarm because the worst of the weather passed by the township. He ran a test of the siren to quell rumors that the system was not working. The chief says needlessly triggering sirens can lead to panic.
Another Cleveland EMS unit on an emergency run ended up being blindsided at a downtown intersection this morning. Luckily, everybody got out without any serious injuries, but as Bill Youngkin tells us, the next time those involved might not be as lucky.
The law states pull to the right for sirens and lights. Trouble is, that doesn't always happen. And that's why veteran EMS technicians like Sam Griggs worries every time he gets a call.
If people are going to move out my way, am I going to be killed on the next run?
We're really pretty fortunate that a more severe type of incident didn't occur.
EMS people say the squad was responding to reports of a woman delivering a baby downtown. With sirens blazing and lights flashing, cars stopped at East 30th and St. Clair. But just as the EMS unit went into the intersection, a woman made an abrupt left turn into the ambulance. Here in the city, there are an average of 30 accidents a year involving EMS units out on emergency runs. And just like today's, most of them take place at intersections. Investigators say too many times people just aren't paying attention.
One is that oftentimes they don't hear or see the ambulance. You know, people are paying attention to other things, or they're daydreaming, or they've got the radio turned up.
So far, there have been no serious injuries and accidents involving EMS units here in the city. But everybody knows someday that luck could run out. That could be why new EMS units being put online these days are bigger, heavier, safer for those riding in them. In Cleveland, I'm Bill Youngkin, News Channel 5.
Cleveland police this afternoon charged the driver of the car, 32-year-old Teresa Dorsey of Euclid, with failure to yield to an emergency vehicle. She was treated and released along with the 2 EMS technicians at St. Vincent Charity Hospital.
Well, some residents and businesses in Parma did not get a warning before they were asked to evacuate the area. A crew accidentally hit a gas main here on North Avenue and Broadview Road. The Parma Fire Department evacuated several houses and a few businesses because of the gas leak. Traffic was rerouted until the leak was repaired. Everything is back to normal at this hour. Officials say this is the second leak in the area in just 2 days.
The Cleveland School Board tonight is expected to approve the first phase of a proposal to gradually end forced busing within the district. Within the past hour, the board adjourned to executive session where they're now discussing a plan that would eliminate the need to bus 1,200 elementary school children across town. That proposal has identified specific neighborhoods that are naturally integrated, according to the board, and therefore don't require busing.
And if we, as the board and the plaintiffs and the state all sign off and say we think this will work, I think it's a good sign to the court that we're working together towards meeting the requirements of what the judge had outlined. He'd like to see something by August the 1st.
The public gets its chance to voice its concerns in a series of open meetings this summer. Board members say they hope to implement that plan this fall.
Well, the Democratic National Convention is ready for a second night, but how do the politicians spend their day?
Well, we spent the day with Cleveland Mayor Michael White in New York, and we'll show you when News Channel 5 continues.
Around-the-clock news coverage. Live updates every hour on the hour. That's what makes News Channel 5 your 24-hour news source. Now get ready for Good Morning Cleveland. All the news you need to start your day from people who've been working around the clock covering it. Wake up to Good Morning Cleveland, weekdays at 6 a.m. on News Channel 5.
In the next 24 hours, more people will buy the new Ford Taurus than any other American car. World-class quality has made Taurus a design leader. It's also why 5 out of the top 10 bestsellers in America are Fords. The new Taurus has a more comfortable interior, anti-lock brakes, even driver and passenger side airbags. And right now, get $750 cash back from Ford. How will you spend your next 24 hours? If you're like many Americans, the time you spend in a new Taurus is time well spent. See your Northeast Ohio Ford dealer.
Say you're hungry.
I'm hungry.
Say you've got $2.
I've got $2.
Well, right now, McDonald's has 2 double cheeseburgers on sale for just $2.
Wow, that's a great deal.
Yeah, but say you're really, really hungry.
I'm really, really hungry.
Okay, McDonald's has 2 triple cheeseburgers on sale for just $3. So now what do you have to say?
Now what do I have to say? Let's get to McDonald's before they change their minds.
Get 2 double cheeseburgers for $2, 2 triples for $3. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Are you coming?
Some days my minor arthritis acts up, and I really feel the pain. I used to take aspirin. Now I've switched to Advil. Advil relieves the pain in my stiff joints. In fact, one Advil is as effective as 2 regular aspirin. And Advil is gentler to my stomach. Maybe that's why doctors recommend Advil for minor arthritis pain, more than any other brand. For my pain, I simply prefer Advil. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
This is the week when promising young Democrats around the country try to catch the eye of their national party leaders at the Democratic National Convention.
Our Ted Henry is at the convention this week in New York, and Ted tells us about one young Democrat who is making his presence known.
It's big, it's brawny, and it's banged up. The city of New York is already salivating about how it intends to use the funds generated by this convention. This convention is very important to the city of New York, just like Mayor Mike White says the next convention could be very important to Cleveland. Cleveland Mayor Michael White plans to be seen here in New York as he makes his biggest pitch ever to land the next Democratic convention in Cleveland.
Ted, in the 5 days of our convention, it is expected that the Democratic National Convention will leave $200 million in New York. That's 2/3 of the city of Cleveland's budget in 5 days. That's not bad arithmetic.
The mayor is working this convention like a convention, selling his agenda and selling himself, especially with his loud support of Bill Clinton.
I think Mike White needs to be very aggressive and very vocal for Bill Clinton.
I think Mike White's doing just the right thing. The kind of commitment that he's showing in the Clinton campaign are things that people are going to pay attention to.
This is Mike White's forum, and these are the people he needs to impress while he's in New York this week. But it's a gamble. If White makes himself known by pushing strongly for Clinton, and then Clinton loses, White could damage his own political future. White says the gamble is worth it. How badly do you, Mike White, want to see that man, Bill Clinton, elected president?
Ted Henry, millions of Americans, as you and I stand here, have no health care. Millions of them are in the parks and the greats of various parts of America today. Thousands of our children are not being educated. I want a new president for the future of America and the future of Cleveland.
I'm coming to you from Madison Square Garden live right now, as you can see, and joining me is our TV5 guest analysts all this week for the 1992 Democratic National Convention, Congressman Dennis Eckert. This is really going to be the mayor's defining week on the national scale, isn't it, Dennis?
It's like the Olympics, Ted. He is on the top of that 10-meter board. The audience is hushed and waiting for Mayor Mike White to do 2 perfect moves when he leaves the board.
What are those?
First, he has to convince folks that he's a national Democrat who wants to work hard on behalf of national Democratic candidates to advance his position to bring the Democratic National Convention to Cleveland. And secondly, he has to develop a focus that makes him the agent of change within the black political community.
How's he going to affect change on a national level in that respect in the black community?
Very clearly, with Jesse Jackson sending out the kinds of signals he is, that's distancing himself from Clinton and Gore because of the discomfort that Jesse has with these matters of embracing a all-white ticket, if you will, raises problems. By Mike White rising above that, by Mike White showing that he believes in people and their messages, not in race politics, he will distinguish himself in a way that I think will make him a hero among the new generation of national Democrats.
Mike White went to the mat once already trying to lure the entire might of the Democratic Party to stage their 1992 convention in Cleveland. He failed. He struck out. So what's the likelihood of him succeeding 4 years from now?
Cleveland was one of the finalists, and the simple fact that we went down to the final 4 cities, had a full-scale presentation, made one great impression, means that Mike White can do it again, and I think he will.
Well, we're going to find out, because right now the mayor of Cleveland, Michael White, is joining us live from Madison Square Garden. Congratulations on your efforts to get some national attention. I've been watching you on different programs today around the country. What's the likelihood of your actions on the national horizon, being a local mayor, to really attract some big dollars to the city of Cleveland for our infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our airports?
Ted, what this really is about is trying to create a relationship with those people who are going to be making the critical decisions in Washington about infrastructure, about health care, and about new crime dollars going to the cities. my ability to speak with senators and congressmen about the problems of cities and to work with the U.S. Conference of Mayors in trying to deal with those issues should assure us that we'll be on the front of the line when it comes time to dole out public money for these problems. So it's important to Cleveland.
Mayor, let me be as candid as I possibly can be, rather blunt, if I must put it this way. You're risking a whole lot by going full tilt behind the Gore-Clinton ticket, the Clinton-Gore ticket. What if it comes up empty? What's that going to do to your political future on the national scene?
Well, first of all, Ted, I don't perceive that I have a future on the national scene. What I do nationally, no, I'm not interested. But what I do nationally is designed to help Cleveland. I've never aspired to national roles. But let me just say this to you. I'm supporting Bill Clinton and Al Gore, first of all, because I believe in them. But, Ted, I will say to you that I don't believe that the cities of America, including Cleveland, can afford 4 more years of George Bush urban policy.
One last question. Jesse Jackson, Mike White, both men of color, both have different approaches to supporting this ticket. Why are you so enthusiastic and he's not?
Well, I can't speak for Jesse Jackson, but I think that this ticket speaks to the needs of the cities. It speaks to the needs of the minority community, speaks to the needs of America. I'm proud to be supporting it, and I'm going to work hard for it.
Michael White, thank you for joining us. Sid Henry live from Madison Square Garden. We'll be keeping the attention on the convention. See you next at 11 o'clock.
Okay, Ted, thank you very much.
Up next, a look at that changeable weather out there.
From dishwashers to refrigerators, a KitchenAid will last through the years. And I'm so glad I stayed right here with you through the years. Exciting and new. Come up for. We're expecting you.
Princess to the Caribbean. It's more than a cruise. It's the Love Boat.
There has been said, I do in church, but now they won't in the bedroom. Sex-starved wives on the next Oprah.
Wednesday afternoon at 4 on TV 5.
What do you get when you cross performance with a luxury sedan? A Cadillac.
It handles great, it looks great, and it's that simple.
I need dependability, and I get it in my Cadillac.
Now get a $2,000 cash bonus direct from Cadillac on 92 DeVille's, Fleetwoods, or Groves.
After I've ridden in other people's cars, I'm glad I'm a Cadillac owner.
Cadillac, still the one.
See your local Cadillac Gold Key dealers.
To inaugurate their new swimming pool, the Lake Edna Thompsons had a splashy event with food from KFC. They got 15 pieces of original recipe for $9.99 and 15 pieces of new honey barbecue chicken for $9.99. Everyone dove into that scrumptious KFC chicken, which was the only diving Mr. Thompson permitted. 15 pieces of original recipe or honey barbecue chicken, just $9.99. A hot deal in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
John Forsythe and I just hanging out in Monaco on the next Live.
Well, I want to assure everybody that the weather forecast they're about to hear is not a tape recording.
That's right. It seems like a tape recording.
It may sound like it.
Yeah, it's almost identical to what we have had for the past couple of evenings, just a little slower in getting into our area, but it's coming. We do have a tornado watch in effect, once again, for the entire TV5 viewing area until midnight tonight. We also have a flood watch in effect. And if those storms start to hit with all the water that we've had over the past couple of days, flooding could very likely occur. So let's get to it. Have a look at the numbers, first of all, and see how we're faring today. 88 the high, 70 our low. Normal's 82 and 61. Last year, 79 the high, 62 a low. Record high was 99, set in 1954. Record low 51, set in 1888. Sunset time tonight, 1 minute after 9. Sunrise time, 6:07, and there's a full moon tonight, too. Temperature 87. Humidity, 52%. Barometer, 2978. Winds out of the southwest at 15. No precipitation during the past 24 hours, or at least since midnight last night, is what I really should say. But there is some on the way. Now, over around the Toledo area, they have a couple of tornado warnings in effect. That is not our situation here. We are under a tornado watch throughout the TV5 viewing area, but we'll be watching that big band of storms, and there's a real good chance that we'll be getting some rain from those cells as they slide along the lakeshore tonight. It's warm throughout the state, as you can see. Pretty well everybody up into the 80s, with the exception of Toledo, because they're getting all that rain there. On our national radar, great big band of showers, lots of shower activity with a great big system down through the south, and everything is drifting slowly to the east, so everybody in the east is going to be getting wet over the next couple of days. This is our situation right now. Very unstable air on both sides of a stationary front, little lows running along, and this whole thing is going to be a kind of a slow mover. By this time tomorrow, it'll be getting through the state, and as a result, cool things off a little bit and end those showers, thank goodness. We'll be in the upper 70s tomorrow, and if you're thinking of doing any boating, I suggest you don't, really, because we do have a tornado watch in effect. It would be a good idea to stay off the lake. For tonight, that tornado watch remains in effect, and we can expect showers and thunderstorms, a low of only about 65 to 66 degrees. Tomorrow is 78 for a high, partly cloudy, showers ending in the morning. Thursday, partly cloudy, chance of an afternoon shower, warming up to 85 again. Friday, chance of showers and thunderstorms, 82. Same on Saturday, 82, with some sunshine. Then Sunday, everything should clear out once again. We'll have a high in the mid-80s, and that's it for the next 5 days.
Still a real summery forecast, so changeable weather.
It really is, and look out tonight. We could get some wild weather in a couple of hours again.
Keeping you busy another night.
Thanks, Don. The baseball all-stars are getting ready to play the big game tonight.
Well, would you believe it's already time to start talking about the Browns football? Nev Chandler has both the stories next in sports.
Another new truck. I'm going to start calling you Mr. Moneybags.
You don't need to be a Mr. Moneybags to drive a new Ford every 2 years.
How's that?
Simple. The 2-year red carpet lease from my Ford dealer.
Isn't leasing expensive?
Not at all.
Ford F-150, #1 in Northeast Ohio. Loaded with style and comfort, and now leasing one may make more sense than ever.
Well, I guess I won't call you Mr. Moneybags.
Yeah, just call me Smart.
Ask your Ford dealer about leasing. Another way he's winning Ohio over.
Ooh, you should have gone to Arby's. Look, I'll show you. Arby's has subs, loaded with delicious fresh sub stuff. Let me just walk you through the Italian. It's got your real Genoa salami, pepperoni, ham. You know, if I were just 12 feet taller, I'd eat the whole thing right now. They're delicious. In fact, Arby's guarantees them. If they're not the best subs you've ever tasted, you get your money back. Proving once again that... Hey, different is good.
Tonight, I hereby declare tonight Tanner Family Fun Night.
Oh, Bob, please.
Are the Tanners having too much fun?
Dad, you look like a dweeb.
Yes, but I'm a dweeb having fun. Full house. Then, this is a building show. We build things. What would you like to build? How about a thing? Tim gets hammered by George Foreman. 1, 2, 3. Home improvement.
After convention coverage, watch News Channel 5 at 11.
Evenings, I soak my dentures. Mornings, I brush. Then back to soaking.
Wait. All you need is denture cream. Why soak when denture cream gets dentures nearly twice as clean, with more than twice as much mint? All you need is denture cream.
Every time.
I try to ignore my sensitive teeth, but they hurt.
Don't ignore your sensitive teeth. Sensodyne helps stop the pain that can make you stop brushing. Could lead even to tooth loss.
Thanks, Sensodyne.
Sensodyne helps stop the pain of sensitive teeth.
They were identical twins with not-so-identical tastes.
You're not wearing those.
All they could agree on was Mazda Mania 2, where the wildly sporty new MX-3 can be yours for $11,600. It's hard to agree on everything.
That's a good color on you.
But no one should miss Mazda Mania 2.
At your local Mazda dealer now.
Well, a pretty big night in baseball, and for one Indian in particular.
Well, Charles Nagy may get a chance to throw tonight, Lorna. That'd be interesting. And Sandy Alomar starts, of course. Carlos Baerga should at least pinch hit, so we'll get a chance to probably see all three in action here. Well, Charles Nagy may get a chance to pitch tonight for the All-Star team of the American League, and if he does so, he's going to throw a baseball with orange and blue seams. That's one of the new twists you'll see from San Diego. Now, baseballs with colored seams have not been used in a major league game since the 1930s. Baseball's big names spend much of their time during the break autographing all sorts of souvenirs. For the new stars like Charles Nagy, it's the kind of setting that makes dreams come true.
I mean, I used to watch the All-Star game like everybody else on TV and everything else like that, and go down to the stadium and just harass them and try and get autographs like every other kid. Never dreamed anything like this was going to happen, though.
And now Nagy is the subject of stargazing and should be for many years to come. Well, Bill Belichick opens his second training camp with the Browns tomorrow and the team's first camp at their splendid training headquarters in Berea. There are signs throughout the community directing fans to park at the county fairgrounds off Bagley Road, where shuttles will take them directly to practice. It's the biggest change from the previous camps at Lakeland Community College.
Parking. At Lakeland, the parking was right next to the practice fields. Here, the parking will be at the Berea Fairgrounds, which will mean the fans will have to take a 5-minute shuttle each way. But the good part of that is that if somebody wants to come only for a half hour, the shuttles run continuously, and they're only going to give up 10 minutes round trip on the shuttle.
Another notable change is the proximity of the bleachers to the practice fields. Fans will have ringside seats just 10 to 15 yards away from the sidelines. And they'll be able to see the hill that all Browns must climb this summer, Mount Belichick. 100,000 fans will visit the Browns camp before it closes August 22nd. The first workout open to the public is 3:15 tomorrow afternoon for the rookies and free agents. Well, the Oilers are still the team to beat in the AFC Central, but quarterback Warren Moon told Bob Stevens recently that the Browns have a good chance to challenge Houston.
Well, if they make that kind of improvement this year that they made from last year, they'll be in the Super Bowl. I mean, they really made some great strides last year. Bill Belichick is a real solid, sound coach, and they're going to be better this year, there's no question. I don't know if they'll make that much more improvement, but they'll be a much more improved team this year, and they'll be one of the teams that we have to really battle with in our division because they played us tough both times last year, and I look for them to be tough again.
Moon realizes the Oilers had better go to the big dance soon because he's not getting any younger. And neither is former Vikings quarterback Wade Wilson, who is looking for a job this summer, and he may have found one in Atlanta. The Falcons have put Wilson through drills the past 2 days, and they just might sign him as a backup to quarterback Chris Miller. Slowly but surely, #1 draft picks are being signed around the NFL. Here's tight end Johnny Mitchell, the Jets' top choice and the 15th pick overall. He came to terms today. The former Nebraska star is the 10th first-round draft pick to sign. Meanwhile, the Browns are still working on getting Tommy Vardell's signature. And once again, steroid use has damaged the United States track and field team. Kami Kashmiri, America's top discus thrower, has been suspended for failing a drug test. In all probability, Kashmiri stands to miss the Summer Olympics that start in less than 2 weeks. And we just found out the Indians have made a trade with Baltimore. They get right-hander Jose Mesa for minor league outfielder Kyle Washington. Mesa 3-8 with the Orioles this year at a 5.1 ERA. He'll fit right into the starting rotation, huh?
Won't miss a beat.
No, I guess not. It's Nagy and everybody else.
Thanks. Now, there's more News Channel 5 just ahead.
We'll be right back.
Your Better Buick dealers announce a revolutionary new way to buy an automobile, the 2-year Buick Test Drive. Now you can enjoy the low monthly payments of up to 4-year, 3.9% GMAC financing. But here's the revolutionary part. After only 2 years, you can walk away from your 1992 Buick for just $250. If you want to own your car rather than lease and still drive a new car every few years, ask about the 2-year Buick Test Drive at your Better Buick dealer. It'll save you real money every month.
It's the Summer of 99 Super Value Menu Sweepstakes from Wendy's and Coca-Cola, where you get to pick the prize you want to play for. Choose a brand new Jeep Cherokee, 99 pounds of lobster, a Carnival cruise, 99 of any item on Wendy's 99-cent Super Value Menu, a shopping spree on Rodeo Drive. There's 99 prizes in Wendy's Summer of 99 Super Value Menu Sweepstakes. Pick up details today.
Wendy's, it's the best place to spend your summer.
He shoots, he scores. Former Cavs great Jim Jones knows what it takes to be a winner on the basketball court.
A lot of what I learned on the court has shown me what it takes to be a winner in life, too.
Now, if you'd like a little help with your game on and off the court, and you're between the ages of 8 and 14, then join Jim for Camp Outreach. Together with Kenny Kings, we're offering free basketball clinics all summer long.
I invite you to come to the next camp at these times and locations. First, I'm going to teach this guy a lesson.
If you've looked at the high prices of luxury sports sedans, you're no doubt thinking maybe I should lower my expectations. Well, considering the Nissan Maxima SE has more power than a BMW 525i and more room than a Mercedes-Benz 300e, yet you pay thousands less than either of them, maybe you should keep your expectations high. and just lower your payments. See your Nissan dealer for details, because right now you can lease a Maxima for as little as $279 a month.
The next Super Lotto jackpot just accelerated to $12 million. Get into the race at a lottery sales agent near you.
Let's go to Wilma Smith in our 24-hour newsroom now for a look at the stories we're following for 11. Wilma?
Hello, Roy. You know, we're keeping an eye on the weather watches and warnings for a third straight night. We'll let you know if there's anything you should be concerned about. Plus this story for you. A 4-year-old who got lost in the woods in western Pennsylvania last night survived some stormy weather. We'll have his story. Stay with us all night long for 24-hour news source updates. And, Roy, I'll see you at 11 o'clock.
Okay, Wilma. Thanks. Yes. Lorna?
And finally, there's a way you can give a homeless child a warm hug when the summer fades and the cold winds blow again. All this week, volunteers are gathering at the Great Northern Mall to staff a giant sewing line producing kid sacks. Kid sacks are special sleeping bags designed to give homeless children staying at shelters a bed of their own. Organizers say their goal is to make 600 kid sacks by the end of the week. So if you'd like to help, you can come on out to the Great Northern and sew up a warm hug for a needy child. And unfortunately, there are too many needy children.
Yeah. Hope they get hundreds of people out there to do that. That's the news for now. Thanks for being with us.
And stay tuned for news every hour on your 24-hour news source.
ABC World News Tonight with Peter Jennings up next. We'll see you tonight at 11.
Good night.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Tonight, reporting from the Democratic National Convention in New York City.
Good evening. Here at Madison Square Garden, the Democratic Party gives a very good impression today of feeling better.